Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in on the crazy-making behavior of the covert narcissist. I get a number of questions from people who have experienced essentially depersonalization from a covert narcissist. And the depersonalization is a direct result of sort of the crazy-making, the inexplicable behaviors, the inconsistency, and the contradictory double messages that are received from the people who are in an environment with a covert narcissist. And the covert narcissist will do and say things which are contradictory to how they truly feel internally. And that's where the crazy making is created. And this is oftentimes experienced as inexplicable. So they might be in a intimate relationship with you, either as a spouse or as a family member, and they are the provider. They are the strong, quote-unquote, silent type. They portray this stoic, aloof being, where they are the pillar in your life to you, or they at least position themselves to be such. Yet there's something inexplicable about a sort of lack or a deficit that you feel with them. Oftentimes you can't identify it, you can't put a finger on it, but you know something is wrong. And it's this inability to sort of come to terms or communicate openly with a covert narcissist, which again is one of their manipulation tactics and tools, is to be very reticent, to be very aloof, to not communicate, to be unavailable to you. So again, this is a very calculated and very hallmark trait of a covert narcissist, where they will withdraw or they will withhold communication, withhold information, withhold certain interactions from you. It seems very strange, but this is what the covert narcissist does. They will withhold information in order to keep things off balance, in order to keep them separate from you and not engaging with you, so it keeps them in a heightened state of superiority above you. So you don't realize, but essentially it's a sort of a king-pawn relationship, queen-pawn relationship, where they are above. They don't declare that they're above. They don't seem outwardly like they're superior to you. In fact, the covert narcissist might be somewhat disheveled. They might be kind of disorganized or very socially inept, have a very sort of low social, kind of social standing, meaning they have a kind of a really low emotional intelligence. They don't really seem to get a lot of people or have a lot of very social, dynamic relationships where they're very outgoing. Yet there's this crazy making that is created by this withholding. And this cognitive dissonance, which is oftentimes felt, not said, not stated, or expressed outwardly by the covert narcissist, but is felt more so by the victim, by the people, by the supply who are in an intimate relationship with them, who are really the first to notice it. And it goes really in sort of a silent sort of suffering. I would think if you can look at the stages, there's a silent suffering that is created, where one essentially goes through the beginning and feeling, the love bombing stage, where they feel like they've met their boy wonder or their girl wonder in this person, and they feel that they are very much alive or very engaged with this person. They can really take a leadership role, or there's so much that they can do. They're a fixer-upper, if you will, in their relationship. They're so busy here, well then let me be this and this to you, or you've got this and this going and you need that and that, so then let me do this, let me do that. And so it's very easy to kind of fall into place with these people. Yet there's then created a cognitive dissonance where you fall into place and you don't realize that you're essentially then providing them and fulfilling their needs, but it's not really reciprocated. You're essentially being fulfilled for providing in the beginning, but you don't realize you're not getting the same in return. They might, initially seem like they're providing that, but when you really break it down, you realize that there is something that is going on underneath the surface, underneath the mask of what they're presenting to you, where, you know, they're kind of, there's an inferiority. You know, oftentimes the narcissist will view their supply as quote unquote stupid. The narcissist has a heightened sense of self or superiority. They feel that they're better than others. And oftentimes they feel that they're better than others, oftentimes because they lack empathy. They're not hindered by other people's feelings. They're not hindered by other people's emotions. They don't really feel that they need to attend to people, that oftentimes even giving affection can be a waste of time. Sitting down and chatting with people can be a waste of time. They're so much above and beyond that. They're so much more self-important. You know, why should I have to provide this to my kids? Why should I have to be there and do this and this for my kids? You know, why should I have to be at their baseball game? Why should I have to be at their basketball game? You know, why can't they find their college and their career by themselves? You know, they have such a sort of distorted view on things because they have such a heightened view of themselves that they don't realize they don't have empathy. They're lacking in empathy. This is the core of the personality disorder. So the deficit can really manifest in a number of different ways. You know, of course you should make my dinner for me. Of course you should do the laundry. Of course you should do the house cleaning. Of course you should do this and this. You know, you're my pawn. It's not exactly stated that way, but it is assumed. It is oftentimes assumed by their role and their treatment, and oftentimes their nonverbal treatment. So realize that this cognitive dissonance, this crazy making, is what creates that separation or that gap or that sort of feeling like that there's something missing between you and the covert narcissist. This is how they create the cognitive dissonance, the crazy making, and that inexplicable pain or suffering which you initially bottle up and suffer silently, and until you realize, hey, it's time to speak up. It's time for me to be visible. It's time for me to dish up the real stuff so they can actually see what's needed, and they can no longer be copping out. They can no longer wuss out. They now have to come to terms with me because they're going to have to reckon with me. I'm as much involved in the relationship as they are. They need to come to terms. If they can't be accountable, then they are going to continue to abuse, and the cycle is going to perpetuate. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.